Today, the 10th-season Takeover series is back. Chelsea have had an abysmal past few seasons. A lot of chaos has surrounded the club, and Mauricio Pochettino has just left a couple of months ago. Against all expectations, as towards the end of last season, Chelsea got better and better, and still they sacked Mauricio Pochettino, have now brought in Enzo Maresca from Leicester City, the coach. But today, it is myself, Rebuild Sombrero, stepping in at Chelsea, try to win them as many trophies as possible over the next 10 seasons. Giving you a little reminder of how the points system works, you get 5 points for the big one, the UEFA Champions League. Then 3 points for the Premier League in this case, with Chelsea. Also 3 points though for the Europa League or the Europa Conference League. And then 1 point for any other cup competition. Give you an example, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, the Super Cup, which is the Community Shield in England, or even the UEFA Super Cup in Europe, of course. That gives you 1 point. Of course, Real Madrid are top of the table in the Takeover leaderboard, 4 points ahead of Barcelona. In third, there is Napoli, and in fourth, rock bottom is Manchester United. What I can tell you immediately is that most of the players are actually relatively young, like 23, 21. We have Madueke 21, Gusto 20, and then there is the old man, really an exception. It is Thiago Silva, 38, 84. What I can though immediately tell you is that I don't really like the 23-year-old 77 rated Petrovic. We have Sanchez there, who can take this spot for maybe the first season. We have 3 transfers per season available to us, and for the first season there is a massive budget of 171 million in our bank. Strategy-wise, I want to give Chelsea the classical counter-attacking style of play. I don't know if they play like that under Enzo Maresca, but they've had the most success in their history under counter-attacking managers like Jose Mourinho and Carlo Ancelotti. I have also found a whole list of good coaches, which of course enables us to grow faster as a team. 12 in goal, 9 in defense, 8 in midfield, and 8 in attack in terms of the stars. As per usual, I'm also setting up a scouting network in England for 9 months. Jude Hutchinson can bring us a few babies to London. First player we signed for Chelsea in our first season is an Italian central midfielder. As I said, we needed an upgrade there, and that's exactly what we have done. As we have signed the star player from Inter, the Italian champions, in Nicolo Barella, 81 million plus Conor Gallagher in a swap deal. In yet another swap deal, we have swung in for a new striker. It is Alexander Isak joining us from Newcastle United. Nicholas Jackson plus 42 million. With Barella into the team in central midfield, 26-86. I have put Fernandez also in midfield. Cole Palmer is on the right, of course. I expect a lot from him during those 10 seasons. Certainly where we still need improvements is in that centre-back position. Either there or in goal. I'm gonna see what I can do for our final transfer this season. In the meantime though, I have realized that a couple of players are on loan away from us, like Kepa to Real Madrid. I'm gonna recall him. Same thing applies for Ian Matson, who I'm going to recall, and then probably sell Chilwell, who is already on the transfer list now. I completely forgot that Romelu Lukaku is also away on loan. I'm gonna recall him either to, I don't give him the number 10, but either to set him, of course, on the transfer list or to keep him in the squad. We are going to see what we can do there. Before though going in for a final player, we changed Noni Madueke's position from a right midfielder to a right winger, and he goes up by 1 to a 79. I've also changed Christopher Nkunku to a left winger from a centre forward, and he goes up by 1 to an 86. Also changing Mikhailo Mudrik's position from a left midfielder to a left winger, and he also goes up by 1 to a 78. Raheem Sterling, also to a left winger, goes up by 1. Not a bad growth overall. Cole Palmer goes to a right winger from an 81 to an 81, staying there. Absolutely brilliant. But of course, lads, we were always going to clear out the club. The injury-prone Ben Chilwell goes to Aston Villa for about 30 million. Kepa, who returned from loan, goes to Villarreal, to his home country for 20.96 million. Gilchrist to Luton Town for 1.2. And then we have loaned out the whole Easter players as well. In Colwill, who goes to Stade Reims for 2 years to develop nicely. Ugo Chokwu goes to Girona, also for 2 years. Just like David Washington to River Plate. Moreira to Olympique Lyon. Chukwuemeka to PSV, also 2 years. And then Cesare Casadei to Olympique Lyon. Those are the most important loans and transfers we've done. Leaving us with about 93 million for one final player. On transfer deadline day, we have completely played Borussia Dortmund, as we have sent an injured player their way, a player who is just out for 4 months. And in return, we have been blessed with one of the highest rated centre-backs from Germany, also only 23, a man for present and future, in Nico Schlotterbeck, who joins us from Dortmund for 40 million only, plus Wesley Fofana, injured for 4 months. We have very much cleared house here. I keep Lukaku in the squad as a backup striker for at least this season. And Nkunku on the left wing, he's an 86 rated player, so he goes into the starting 11. That's what I want to do at least, if the game lets me do it. Sterling now on the bench. We have Palmer, of course, on the other wing. Enzo in midfield alongside Caicedo and Barella. A young team. Of course, no European football in the first season with Chelsea. Hopefully we can qualify for the second season Champions League. That would be the dream. But let's simulate for 10 seasons now. At the halfway point of the season, we have sold Mykhailo Mudryk to Fulham for 31.3 million. Here he goes, he looks absolutely devastated. I mean, at the end of the first Premier League season, it is Spurs already making it unrealistic here, becoming the champions. And we are in 3rd place, so we were very, very well. We did a fantastic job here in the first season. And we were so close to our first point, but we have been beaten by Manchester City in the FA Cup final, 3-1. In the Carabao Cup, it is Liverpool defeating Manchester United. And oh my god, we have been beaten 6-0 in the semi-finals on aggregate by Liverpool. Horrendous. 4-0 at home. Of course, 0 points in the first season, but still I'm really excited by the development of certain players like Schlotterbeck up to an 86. Silva down to an 80, of course, we need to replace him. James up to an 85. We have Caicedo at an 84. Barella 86. Fernandes 84. What a season here in terms of development. 87 Nkunku. 85 Isak. We have an 84 rated Palmer. And I mean, the stats are looking tasty. Isak 15 and Nkunku 15 without European football. Barella 10 goals from centre defensive midfield and 19 assists. What a signing that was. Next season we'll have an ungodly amount of players returning from loan, so we need to see what we do with those guys. But anyways, first season in the Premier League, 3rd. Actually not bad. Run-rub in the FA Cup, very close to a first point. Semi-finals in the Carabao Cup. But in the end it's still 0 points after the first season, and hopefully next season we can start the hunt for, of course, the trophies. To begin the second season with Chelsea, I have found a couple of super interesting players who are both going to get promoted to the first team, in Broadshaw and Arnold, the centre-back and the striker. And I mean, we've done a lot of business here at the beginning of the second season, loaning out a whole host of players: Santos, Angelo, Kasledin, Chukwuemeka, Daya, Fofana. All of those players have gone out on loan. But not only that, we've also sold a couple of very, very important players to this team. Raheem Sterling, 29 already, 83. He went to Spurs for 42.6 million. Robert Sanchez went to Wolves for 33.8. Hakim Ziyech returned from loan, and he was sold to Liverpool of all teams for 18 million. Armando Broja goes to Brentford for 15.2. Ugo Chokwu, who has lost his potential tag unfortunately, goes to Fulham for 5.5 million. Slonina to Al Ittihad. Luis Hall to Borussia Dortmund. Humphreys to Napoli. All of those sales leave us with about 409 million, our biggest budget yet. What we surely need to improve is our squad depth. We have 3 youth players who fill up the spots here, and no goalkeeper on the bench, so a goalkeeper is absolutely needed. First off, we fill in that goalkeeping spot. We only had 1 goalkeeper left. And who else to bring in than the Italian god himself, Gianluigi Donnarumma, joining us from PSG for 111 million. Second, we go in for Brazilian centre-back from Real Madrid. Strengthening that back line. He's only 26 already, 87 overall. Eder Militao joining us from Real Madrid, again for 111 million. One last signing for a French central midfielder, where we lacked, of course, quality and depth. He plays for Real Madrid in real life, but here in this save, for some reason, he played for Napoli. And that's where we got him from, for 108 million, very close to the 111 again. Just look at how good this starting 11 looks like now, with Militao 26.87, Camavinga 21.85, and our big man in goal, of course, Gianluigi Donnarumma 25.88. We have Enzo Fernandez now on the bench, he can't get a look into the team. We change Eduardo Camavinga's position from a central midfielder to a CDM, and he stays at an 85. We simulate through season number 2. Hopefully we can bag some wins this season. At the end of the second season, we were so close, yet so far. Third place in the end, 83 points, only 2 behind champion Manchester City. Liverpool squeezed in between the two of us. But yeah, at least we got Champions League football next season, but I want to win some trophies, guys. Well, we don't do that in the FA Cup, where Manchester City defeat Newcastle. And I mean, we have been knocked out in round 3. What a shit show. Nor do we win the Carabao Cup that goes to Manchester United over Forest, as we have been knocked out by Forest 1-0 in round 4. In the Champions League, we topped our group, 2 points ahead of Athletic Club. We defeated, scraped through in fact, Atalanta in the round of 16 4-3. We also scraped by Napoli in the quarterfinals 3-2. The Italian journey continues. But then we got knocked out to Arsenal of all teams. How have they done it so far and then beaten us? And it is in fact Inter defeating Arsenal. They still haven't won the Champions League. I mean, guys, when are we going to start winning some trophies here? Palmer 18 goals, Isak 18 goals, 15 for Lukaku even. Nkunku with 14 goals and 11 assists. Camavinga with 15 assists up to an 87. The squad is absolutely fantastic. I mean, the lowest rated player in this starting 11 is Cucurella at the left back at 83. All the others are at least 87 rated. And even the bench is looking very good. At the end of the second season, third place in the Premier League, round 3 in the FA Cup, round 4 in the Carabao, and semi-finals in the Champions. I mean, not too bad in the Champions League and in the Premier League, but the cups need to improve, really. We need to win some trophies now in the third season. To start off the third season and hopefully the trophies, we have 382 million to improve that squad. And of course, the crucial part of this team we needed to improve was the left back spot. So we've gone in for an absolute world beater. 24 years of age still only, a Canadian, of course, you guys guessed it. It is Alphonso Davies joining us from Milan for 100 million on the dot. And to further improve the backline for future seasons, we go in for an exciting prospect from the Ivory Coast. Ousmane Diamonde joining us from Barcelona for 45.5 million. And last but not least, in a swap deal with Romelu Lukaku, I know I had to take a hit, but therefore I got a man for the future, a bit like Chelsea do their business in real life. Buying young talent from other teams. Here we have gone in for a Bayern Munich player in real life. In this save he plays for Udinese, he comes in. It is Matthijs Tel, a wonder kid for Romelu Lukaku in a swap deal without any money. However, there are also the outs that we cannot forget to make. Marco Correa goes to Arsenal of all clubs for 47.8. Disasi to Brentford for 47. Casadei lost his potential tag, goes to Bournemouth. Moreira goes to Leeds United. And then we have loaned out Colville to Liverpool of all teams. Washington to Porto. Santos to Brighton. With this being the final squad for the season, Davies at left back 24.86. Tell on the bench 20.79. And Diamonde even in the reserves, 21.81 overall. I just wanted to give you a little update on the Youth Academy where we found a whole list of incredible players. Look at those potentials on those guys. We are going to promote them and loan them out. At the end of the third season in the Premier League, we have finally done it, and by a convincing margin as well. 10 points ahead of Aston Villa of all teams in second. Liverpool in third, 14 points behind us. Manchester United 17. I mean, what a season we had. 25 wins out of 38 games, only 3 defeats. our very first 3 points onto the leaderboard in this takeover. Make that 4, because we have won the FA Cup over Leeds United. Great work, lads. The Carabao Cup goes to Man United over Everton, so no points there, as we have been beaten by Spurs in round 4. And I mean, what has happened in the Champions League? We have been grouped rock bottom of Group A with Copenhagen, Dortmund and Benfica. They've all been better than us. What an absolute shocker. That is a sackable offense. I am absolutely shocked. What a player Alexander Isak is. Up to a 91, 30 goals in 44 appearances. 13 for Nkunku and 9 assists. 13 goals for Madueke even. 11 goals and 14 assists for Parma, up to a 90 overall. This team is absolutely bonkers. How we got grouped in the Champions League, I will never know. The lowest rated player in this starting 11 is Davies, actually, who we bought, 25.87. We have Militao 89, even Reece James at an 88. Caicedo 88, the OG Chelsea players, Parma 90 overall. I mean, two minds about this third season. In the FA Cup we have won, the Premier League we have won, comfortably even. Carabao Cup, round 4. But in the Champions League, we ridiculously embarrassed ourselves. I mean, I still can't get over the fact that we got grouped in rock bottom in a group with Copenhagen. But oh well. 4 points in season number 3. We'll have an incredible budget of 519 million in this 4th season with Chelsea. At the start of the 4th season here, we've got an immediate shot at glory in the FA Community Shield for 1 point against Aston Villa. Can we do that? Yes, it is the first point of the 4th season. Now, there is a player that already played for Chelsea, was released or sold from them, and now he's one of the best players at 23 years of age, one of the best in the world, I would say. From Bayern Munich, it is Jamal Musiala joining us for a whooping 220 million. We had about 600 million in the bank, so no problem. We have changed the system to bring in Musiala into this team. Cam spot 23.92 overall. Barella now in the CDM spot alongside Camavinga. There is the new star man of this squad. Coming into the offices of Chelsea. A lot of hype surrounding him. Vicha Kvaratskhelia, one of the breakout stars of this Euro. For 139 million from Napoli to Chelsea. He replaces Nkunku, who goes to the bench. Incredible at 90 overall. He doesn't even start here. Musiala, of course, in the starting spot. I mean, we have really improved those offensive positions. We've once again also cleared house, sending Colville, Bradshaw, Angelo, all on loans, and then selling Hutchinson for 14.8 million to Burnley. Washington, even though he has great potential, he goes to Dortmund because he was surplus to requirement, just like Chukwuemeka, to Everton for 16. Chalobah, 30 million to Manchester City of all teams. And then Fofana, gone to West Ham. And the big one, Inoni Madueke for 58.5 million to Brighton. We have arrived at the end of the season and we've once again done it. Back-to-back Premier League titles, 1 point ahead of Arsenal, very close title running, 6 ahead of City, but 3 points onto the leaderboard. While we haven't won the FA Cup as Manchester City destroy Wolves in the final, we have been embarrassed in round 4 against Rotherham. I think they are in League 1 or League 2. Absolutely shocking. However, then again we have won the Carabao Cup. In the Champions League, we topped our group in flying colours ahead of Lazio and Ajax, before destroying Porto 4-1 in the round of 16, scraping through Bayern Munich 2-1. In the semis, we absolutely tanked Borussia Dortmund to make a first Champions League final. Can we do it against Liverpool? Yes, we do. 5 points onto the leaderboard. Once again, responsible for that belter of a season was Isak. 30 goals in 50 appearances, 26 for Parma with 11 assists, and Nkunku even with 17. Crazy stats from those three. And just look at that team. I mean, frontline 91, 93, 92, and 92. A fantastic midfield. Even a great defense. Only 3 players in this whole starting 11 under the overall of 90. And they will grow in Davies, Schlotterbeck, and James. As per usual in those takeovers, we have assembled an absolute dream team here at Chelsea. And finally, it has come in clutch. In the 4th season, we have made 10 points, with a total of 14 points after 4 seasons. So maybe, just maybe, we can catch up to the top dogs in Real Madrid and Barcelona. We start off season number 5 by going in for a star centre-back, contract expiring in 10 months. He's from Uruguay. It is Ronald Araujo joining us from PSG for 95 measly million. I mean, that is an absolute bargain considering he's 28, 91 overall. Second bargain pickup, another player whose contract was expiring, another player also from PSG, this time a midfielder. There's Federico Valverde joining us from PSG for 120 million. And last but not least, a striker for the future. We have strengthened every department on the field. The defense, the midfield, and now the striking force. He might get sent out on loan though. We have just signed a 20-year-old Portuguese. Could well be the Cristiano Ronaldo region. He comes from Saudi Arabia. From Al Hazem, it is Alexandre Mendes joining us at Chelsea for 51 million. I mean, just look at this side now with Valverde in that spot here in central midfield. With Araujo at centre-back, who even sets Schlotterbeck to the bench. What a team we've got. We have Barella now at 90 overall on the bench as well. We start off the season against Manchester City at Wembley Stadium in the FA Community Shield for 1 point. Can we get it here? Yes, absolutely. Isak and Palmer scored the goals for us. Doku gave City 1 back, but that is not enough. We get our first point in the 5th season. And of course, we are the Champions League winners, so we'll have another chance against Bayer Leverkusen. The first team is absolutely knackered, so a lot of second team players like Barella, Fernandes come in. It's a bit of a joke that we have those kind of second players. But we quick sim against Bayer Leverkusen. Can we get a second point? No! How is that even possible? Gonzalo Ramos, Golovin and Aourir. They destroy us here. 3-2 defeat. We have once again also done some business out of the club. As Benoit Badiashile joins Fiorentina. Now that we have, of course, Ronald Araujo, we didn't need him anymore. Otherwise, we have loaned out Romeo Lavia to Spurs of all teams for 1 season. Mendes to Frankfurt for 2 years, the Ronaldo region here. He will get some valuable game time. We had to sell a player, a man who wanted to leave the club here. I couldn't hold him back. Christopher Nkunku joining Napoli for 128.7 million. As I said, he wanted to leave the club and I have granted his wish. We have also once again promoted 3 youth academy players and loan listed all of them. Hey, for the 3rd time running, we are the Premier League champions. This time our highest points total yet 90 points. Only 2 ahead of Manchester City and 4 ahead of Liverpool. But we have added another 3 points onto the leaderboard. Make that 5 for the season as we've even beaten Manchester City to clinch the FA Cup. However, nothing added in the Carabao Cup, where Spurs defeat Leeds. While we have been beaten by Leeds on penalties in the quarters, that was an opportunity missed here. We topped our Champions League group in flying colours ahead of Barcelona, 5 points ahead of them. Round of 16, we defeated Marseille 3-1 on aggregate. Quarterfinals, we defeated Inter Milan 4-3, we scraped through them. And in the semis, we got beaten by Liverpool 3-2, so no points in the Champions League. Those points will be dearly missed at the end of the takeover. It is Barcelona, effectively our group stage opponents, that finished 5 points below us, defeating Liverpool. I mean, Cole Palmer is on another level. 39 goals, 15 assists. This man is crazy. Isak with 33 even cannot keep up with Palmer, who even was injured. I just realized that. This team is looking great in terms of overall. 93 rated Donnarumma, 92, 91, 90 and 88 rated backline. Only player under the overall of 90 is now Alphonso Davies. 5 points in season number 5. 1 for the Community Shield, 3 for the Premier League and 1 for the FA Cup. 19 in total after 5 seasons. We'll need to make up ground in the remaining 5. As last season we have lost Nkunku, we are now going in for a couple of new wingers. First off, a Brazilian region free agent actually, even though we have about 600 million. Alex Silva, new left winger, probably the Neymar region or someone. He was already approached by Aston Villa. Having unlimited money gives you the opportunity to go in for anyone you like, and that's what we've done. A second and final winger for this transfer window. He was always going to get a royal presentation. A man who could win the Ballon d'Or in real life this year. Vini Jr. joining us from Real Madrid for his release clause of 336 million. The third and final player we go in for this season is another region, probably the Robert Lewandowski region. Once again on a free, he was approached by Juventus, so I swooped in immediately, as we have signed Dominik Kaczmarek from the free agency list once again for €0. I mean, Kaczmarek makes it onto the reserves even only. He might get loaned out alongside Silva, both of those on the reserves. While Vini Jr. is of course in the starting 11, 27.94. As per usual, we've once again loaned out a whole list of players. Broadshot to Leipzig, of course potential to be special, just like Noah Lewis to Luton Town for 2 years, both of those. Bates to Inter for 1 year, already 81 rated. Edwards 77 to PSG. Silva for 1 year, the man we just bought, or even 2 years, I'm not sure right now, to Roma. And then we have sold players like Angelo, 23.82, he returned from loan but wasn't really of any use for us, 65.8 million. Kaczmarek goes to West Ham, and then Colwill goes to Milan for 51 million, he also returned from loan, and as we have a lot of 90 rated defenders, we didn't need him anymore. All of that said and done, which brings us to the first official game of the season, the FA Community Shield. A chance to get 1 point onto the leaderboard against Manchester City at Wembley Stadium. Can we do it? Yes, absolutely. An Isak brace gives us our first point of the 6th season. At the end of season number 6, we are once again commanding the business in the Premier League. 14 points ahead of Aston Villa, 17 ahead of Arsenal in third, and then Manchester City on a naughty number on 69 points. No point in the FA Cup, however, as Arsenal defeat Hull there in the final. Whole different story in the Carabao Cup, however, where we make 1 point as we beat Manchester United 2-1 in the final. We make it out in flying colours in our Champions League group. 14 points, 4 ahead of Leverkusen in second. In the round of 16, we absolutely destroy Real Sociedad 5-0. Quarterfinals, we defeat Barcelona 5-3, a Spanish run here. Because in the semis, we've even played Atletico Madrid, so 3 Spaniards in a row. We've defeated them. Close game though, 4-2 on aggregate. And in the final, we have beaten Milan 3-0 to clinch yet another Champions League. 5 points, yet again. 10 points in season number 6. And I'm not surprised, lads. Look at the ratings on those players. 95 rated Vini, 94 Musiala, 94 Palmer, 94 Isak. I mean, the lowest rated player is still Davies on the left back and then James on the right back. But those guys are not even 30, both of them. And in terms of the stats, we have 3 players on 23 goals. Palmer, Isak and Vini Jr. have all scored 23. So 69 goals among those 3. Naughty, naughty. We are on 29 points after 6 seasons. We'll still have a lot of work to do in the remaining 4 to catch up to Barcelona and Madrid. But let's jump into the 7th season after that successful 6th season. We can't do anything in the starting 11 this season, so that's why we go in for 3 young players, regens. First of them being Bastian Schneider, a Swiss goalkeeper in exchange with Dorde Petrovic from Brighton. The second of those regens, yet another goalkeeper, probably the Manuel Neuer regen. We needed some more squad depth in that position. That's why we have brought in 2 goalkeepers, second of them being Nilsson from Wolves for 50 million on the dot. And before we go in for that final regen player, we play a little FA Community Shield game at Wembley Stadium against Arsenal. Can we get the first point of season number 7? Yes! Oh my god, that was way too close for comfort. Penalty shootout gives us our first win, our first point actually, of season number 7. Our third and final signing, a Croatian midfielder, you guys guessed it, it is the Luka Modric regen, 20 years of age, Slaven Maric, joining us from West Ham for 60 million on the dot. The schedule comes thick and fast here. It is the UEFA Super Cup against Braga. Once again our full strength first team. Can we win the Super Cup as well here? get a second point of the season? No! How is that even possible? Merding with a brace, and Jallo with the final goal for Braga. Kamavinga and Isak give us goals back, but we lose 3-2 to Braga of all teams. Apart from sealing the deals for those 3 players, we've also sold Romeo Lavia to Manchester City for 78 million. And then we have loaned out our new man Slaven Maric for 1 year, or 2 even, to Napoli. Mendes, the Ronaldo region, once again 1 year to Juventus with an 84 overall. He cannot get anywhere near our team at the moment. And so the final squad for season number 7 is looking like that. Davies still the lowest rated at 89. It's still the same team actually, with the exception of Han now on the bench ahead of Petrovic, who is of course has been sold in a swap deal. But this team is ready to once again win a treble. We have already won the Community Shield, lost the Super Cup, the UEFA Super Cup. But we should actually season is done, and very narrowly we make it once again as the champions of the Premier League. Only on 76 points, very low points total. 3 points ahead of West Ham, 8 ahead of Manchester United, and 11 ahead of Liverpool. Make that another point onto the leaderboard as we win the Carabao Cup, defeating Southampton in the final, plus 1 point. We don't get a 6th point of the season, however, as we have lost to Newcastle United in the FA Cup final. Came so close, yet lost the final. But the big one, the Champions League Group C, we only came in 2nd. That's not a good start, lads, ahead of the knockout stages. In the round of 16, we scraped through PSG, coming back from behind after defeating them 3-1 away from home. 7-1 against another French side in Olympique Marseille in the quarterfinals. We absolutely destroyed them. We narrowly beat Barcelona to make it to yet another Champions League final. Can we win it back to back against Manchester City? Yes, we make it another 5 points onto the leaderboard. 2-1 win against City. 10 points in season number 7. Well done, lads. Alexander Isak and Parma have destroyed those stats. Kaczmarek also with 22 for West Ham. He will return from loan and be an absolutely fantastic asset to our team. Vini Jr. with 18 goals, 16 for Tel, 14 for Kvara, and even 12 for Valverde from central midfield. 6 goals only for Musiala. That's a bit disappointing. 11 assists is good, but 6 goals is a bit bleak. And I mean, this team is the definition of world-class insanity. No player now under the overall of 90 as Davies grew to a 90. Not even on the bench we have a lot of players under the overall of 90. We have Tel at 88, Gusto at 88, and then Schneider, the backup goalkeeper, at 80. But overall, I'd say a very successful 7th season. 10 points again, could have been 12, but oh well, let's not be too greedy. We have 39 points after 7 seasons. I'm really intrigued to see what we can do in the final 3. We start off season number 8 with a game at Wembley Stadium, as per usual. In the FA Community Shield, can we get a win against Newcastle United? Oh my god, yes, after penalties, we get our first point. I'll take it, even though it was a lot closer than I thought, than I expected, to be honest. As you can see on the top left, we have over 1 billion to spend, and that's why we go in for one of the finest footballers on earth. It is Pedri joining Chelsea from Barcelona, 30 million, plus Nicolo Barella, who was about 33, only going down from here. You may ask why I bought Pedri. Federico Valverde wanted to leave the club, and that's why we had to sell him to Milan. A man for present and future comes in next, as we have lost both Barella and Valverde. We needed to stock that midfield up, especially in the central positions. That's why we've signed Warren Zaire-Emery, a wonder kid on FC24, at this stage already a superstar. 150 million from Crystal Palace of all teams. With the introduction of Pedri in that central midfield spot, Kamavinga in the CDM spot and Musiala in the camp spot, this is how we roll for this season. Zaire-Emery on the bench. Caicedo even on the reserves. They can put him maybe on the substitutes as he's higher rated than Zaire-Emery and more defensive. The one problem that I have really detected is that we don't have a backup goalkeeper as we have loaned out both of them. So either we call one back or we go in because we have one transfer left for one single goalkeeper. And so the final player we go in for, just to give us some squad depth in the goalkeeping spot. I'm laughing about it because he's 87 rated, only 25 years of age, and he's only a backup. The Frenchman Guillaume Restes from Juventus for 57.1 million. Now we are complete. We play the UEFA Super Cup against Inter with our full strength starting 11. Can we get a second point already of this season? Yes! This is for the first time that we've won both the Community Shield as well as the UEFA Super Cup. If we don't win everything there is to win this season, I don't know what to do. Because we've really strengthened that team. Here you can see Restas on the substitute bench. At the end of season number 8, we are, again, the league champions. For the 6th time in a row. I have never done that, I think. We are the league champions here. Season number 8, 10 points ahead of Manchester City, 11 ahead of Liverpool. No points, however, in the FA Cup. We have been knocked out by bloody Spurs in the quarterfinals. However, once again, we are the Carabao Cup winners. 4-3 on penalties over Arsenal in the final. It went down to the wire here. However, 5 points at stake in the Champions League, and it didn't start well. 5 points below Real Sociedad in the group. Round of 16, oh my god, we absolutely obliterated Atletico Madrid. I have never seen anything like it. 9-2 on aggregate, 6-1 in the second leg. In the quarters, we overran West Ham as well, 6-1. Incredible. What a run we are on. 2-1 in the semis against Man United, which means that we will face Barcelona. Can we make it 5 points? Yes. We even obliterate Barcelona in the final, 4-1. I mean, how many goals did we score in that Champions League run? Crazy, insane. It is Cole Palmer's world and we are living in it. 34 goals, 15 assists for a right winger. Isak with 27 goals, 18 for Kvaratskhelia. And I mean, this is, I think, the most disgusting team I have ever built. Militao has gone down by 1, but all the others are crazy good. 50 points after 8 seasons, so in the last 2 seasons we need to make 20 points if we want to go on same points than Real Madrid. 16 if we want to equalize Barcelona. And 21 if we want to be the top dogs on the leaderboard. Let's see what we can do in the 9th season. To start off the 9th and second to last season, we go in for an absolute brilliant regen. He should be the Lionel Messi regen, coming to Chelsea here. An Argentinian in Paco Pons, joining us from Chicago Fire of all teams for 213 million. Second and final signing we make, a player that used to play in the Premier League. In this save, he has returned to his former club, RB Leipzig. He's actually a left back, but I want to use him as a centre back. In Josko Gvardiol, joining us for 100 million on the dot. And I have signed Josko Gvardiol because of one reason and one reason only. Because we sold Eder Militao, who was just going down from here. 33.91 goes to West Ham. And that's where we play our first game of the season after completing the transfer window against Spurs in Wembley Stadium once again for the Community Shield. Can we get our first point of the 9th season? Yes, again a penalty shootout. What is it with Chelsea and winning those penalty shootouts? They are great there. Second fixture of the season against Olympique Lyon. This time the UEFA Super Cup. Can we make it a second point of season number 9? No, how did we lose that? Oh my god. Again, heartbreak, setback against Lyon of all teams. With this kind of a side, you cannot lose to Lyon, I'm sorry, but oh well. Switching Guardiola's position from a left back to a centre back only took about 2 weeks. Let's see if it stays like that. No, he even goes up by 1. Furthermore, changing Paco Pons, the Lionel Messi regen, I believe, from a centre forward to a right winger. From a 92 staying at a 92. At the end of season number 9, we run riot with the Premier League. 16 points ahead of Brighton and Hove Albion. And Nottingham Forest in third. What is this league? I mean, Brighton and Forest in second and third. But at least we have been champions. 84 points. We have also dismantled Manchester United to win the FA Cup 4-0 in the final. We never win all the trophies, do we? No Carabao Cup this season. Manchester City win that. And we have been knocked out to Everton. Come on, boys. We top our Champions League group in flying colours, ahead of Sevilla in second. 6-2 we win against Ajax in the round of 16. Quarterfinals we defeated Inter Milan. In the semis we've run riot with Barcelona to face Atletico Madrid. Can we make it 5 more points onto the board? Yes, a close dramatic final 3-2. We win over Atletico Madrid. Looking at the stats, I mean, the top scorer Isak hasn't been that great. He scored 22 goals, but where is Parma actually? 7 goals, 6 assists. Not great for Parma, I'm not gonna lie. 96 overall. Isak has now gone down by 1 to a 95 from a 96. Musiala up to a 96. We have Donnarumma at a 97, 33 years of age. That is just crazy. I've never seen a goalkeeper like that. After making it 10 points in season number 9, we go into the final season of this takeover, having achieved 60 points so far, so only 10 behind Real Madrid. We could technically overtake them, so if we win everything, we could make Chelsea the best club in the takeover series. I don't know if you would agree with me, but we are just as good as complete here. Players who return from loan like Hopkins, Bates, 91, 86 overall. Pons is even on the reserves now. I mean, we could put him on the bench, but still, this team is crazy. Kaczmarek and Mendes return from loan. We begin the final season at Wembley Stadium as per usual, against Brighton this time, second in the Premier League last season. Can we get a win here? Yes, 2-0. Vinny Jr. with a brace gives us our first point of the final season. Second Super Cup, this time against Monaco in the UEFA Super Cup in Germany. Can we get a second point of season number 10? Yes, once again, standard procedure. We win. I have even sold Slaven Maric to Manchester City, the Modric region, because we simply didn't need him anymore at 84 over. Once again in the last season here, in the 10th and final season, we are the champions of the Premier League, 11 points ahead of Manchester City. We had yet another point by defeating Spurs in the FA Cup final, 2-1. However, no win in the Carabao Cup, where Aston Villa defeat Nottingham Forest in the final. So lads, right now we are on 66 points. Same points than Barcelona, 5 behind Real Madrid. If we win that Champions League, we will overtake Madrid on 71. The question is, can we do it? We topped our group in flying colors ahead of Shakhtar Donetsk. Round of 16, we scraped past Porto 6-5. Quarterfinals, we absolutely obliterated Leverkusen 6-3. We defeated Milan 3-1. Against Sociedad, we have to win, but we lose. Oh no, we are shared second with Barcelona. We are not first. We don't overtake Madrid. Against Real Sociedad of all teams. These boys really begin to annoy me here. Quite an incredible season by Vinny and Kaczmarek, who returned from loan. The Lewandowski region, 24 goals for him, just like Vinny Jr. 15 for Isak, 12 for Pons, the Messi region. What a great team we have built here. I'm really proud of myself. I would say the strongest team so far in those takeovers. Maybe the Madrid team was equally as strong, but it's certainly... This team is a Hall of Famer team. I mean, look at the reserves even. So at the end of the 10 seasons, we have won 8 league titles, 8 domestic cups and 5 continental cups. A very successful takeover. The first 2 seasons, remember, we didn't win any trophies. So would we have won anything there? We would have been the lone leaders here, but oh well. 66 points, just like Barcelona. In second place, shared with the Catalonians. Of course, Real Madrid still atop, ahead now of Chelsea and Barcelona. Napoli in 4th and Manchester United rock bottom. But lads, if you enjoyed this video, this takeover, then please consider subscribing to the channel and dropping a like on the video. It really helps the growth of the channel. For now though, I'm gonna leave you alone. Have a wonderful rest of your day. It's been Rebuild Sombrero. I'm out.